Hey everybody, I wanted to make a quick video today. I promised a couple students that I would make a video. They were talking about the same thing that I was actually thinking about today when I was replying to some of your comments regarding the online versus face-to-face. Just some reflective comments. I had to take my first online class at KU. It must have been in the late 90s, early 2000s. I think early 2000s. And it was an online class about online learning. And I have to tell you that I really struggled with that class because there was very little interaction. The first class we actually met on campus. As you know, KU doesn't really have online classes per se. I believe they've extended maybe into some special ed classes at this point that are online, but as far as master's and Ph.D. level coursework, it's very rare. But the person teaching this class was kind of a pioneer in online learning and various modalities of learning from a virtual context. So I remember taking that class. I got paired with a person that I found really fascinating. They were in music therapy, and we teamed up and we worked together all semester on projects. And I liked that part of it because she was on campus and so was I. But I really struggled because I didn't have that personal connection and I wasn't meeting with people, talking with people, learning from them. One of the things I know about myself is I'm very much a constructivist-based learner in that I learn a lot from my surroundings and I take a lot in. I change the way I think, I change the way I perceived knowledge or content based on how other people perceived it, and then I try to come to some type of consensus and place myself contextually in the learning. So if somebody had asked me 10 years ago, do you want to take an online class? I'd be like, no, I'm taking only the on-campus classes. Because I'm very much a social person. I like to interact with students. Taking this job, knowing that I was going to be completely online, was something I thought long and hard about. And I had colleagues asking me, people who've been educators for 40, 50 years, are you sure you want to do that? You're so good in the classroom. And I said, I want to do this because I think I can change the way in which people see online learning and then the way they look at it and the connections that you can potentially make within an online setting. So most of the comments that I've read, I probably got through 7 to 10 posts today, and most of them were, it depends on the age of the individual, it depends on the context. Some of you just flat out said, no, definitely love face-to-face. However, for me, online is the only way I can acquire my master's degree. And I completely get that. Even if I knew I was more of a face-to-face learner, if it meant completing a advanced degree, I definitely could hack doing an online setting. But if someone said, here's your choice, I would ultimately choose the face-to-face setting. And when I did my master's and PhD at KU, obviously those were all face-to-face courses. And I remember every night class I attended, and I keep thinking someone today posted, man, I don't have to go anywhere for 9 hours a week and go to classes. I can sit in the convenience of my home. I can do it asynchronously and do it on my own time and not have to, quote unquote, meet with a formal class. And I remember doing that for 4+ years every night in Kansas City and Lawrence. So there are some perks to both. Each of them, depending on your viewpoint, works better for you, and some of it's a little bit of a struggle sometimes. And I think that's the way we can generally look at education and making blanket statements about, I was making a statement earlier about teachers and how we tend to be very social creatures. Not all teachers are, but I would venture to guess that most of us do like a face-to-face setting. And again, making those blanket statements is a little bit tricky because not all teachers are type A social personalities. So I think it's just like anything in education. It's hard to make a blanket statement. There's research out there that would support the online setting and the face-to-face setting as far as learning, but I think it comes down to the individual. Just like anything in the classroom, any learning modality, whether we're in a face-to-face traditional K-6 classroom, K-12 classroom, each child, each student is going to need something different based on the content area. So I know I tend to struggle in math, and so I might need different learning modalities than I would need in a science class because I used to excel in those classes. So I think the statements you make are pretty much general statements with regard to how we adapt our setting, our strategies, everything we do for individuals that we know are trying to acquire knowledge, and that is individualizing the education for those learners. And so that's kind of how I thought about this, in that we really cannot make blanket statements, and we can always find research that this strategy or this strategy is best. But I think what really we should think about is the importance and the value of relationship building, whether that's online or whether that is in a face-to-face setting, and building that trust and level of respect between the teacher and the learner really is how you start making connections and how you start seeing your students learn. So I think it goes deeper than really talking about online or face-to-face or specific modalities or strategies or theories. I think it goes back to something very basic, and I think it's human connection. And I think that's probably where people say that online learning does fall short, is that there's a lack of human connection. Thus, I am making a video tonight so that you feel more connected. So that's kind of my take on it, and I think if I replied to every one of you, it would be very similar in nature. I really enjoyed a lot of your insight with regard to how you felt about face-to-face and how you felt about online learning. So I have a lot of respect for you guys with regard to online learning. I know it is not easy. I know that you have to be very, very strategic in how you use your time and using it to the best of its value. So I want to applaud you for being amazing online students, and tell you that tomorrow I'm going to comment on the next module. I'm waiting for a few of those to roll in. Everybody's about a week ahead, which is nice. That means you may finish early. So I'm into commenting, and I'm also going to do some massive grading tomorrow and really put in a bunch of grades for your class. So I hope that you had a wonderful Monday. It's time for me to tune out and go home and make some Thai food for my daughter before she goes to dance. So I will see you later, and I hope that you have a great rest of your week, and we will talk soon. Take care. Bye.